So before I get started, I must admit that I hadn't seen any of the Conjuring universe films before I watched The Nun. I had no clue of the backstory, if you could even call it a backstory for a film that's technically supposed to be a prequel. Anyways, so now since then, I have actually watched The Conjuring, and I can see why some people were a lot more disappointed with the quality of The Nun. With that being said, I had a lot of high hopes going into The Nun. It seemed like it had a lot of potential and the story could be very unique. Personally, I enjoyed the film. I felt that it took a fun premise and expanded upon it. I also think the acting throughout the film was quite enjoyable. The cinematography was actually quite beautiful as well. There were several shots where I stopped and thought to myself, wow, that is a cool shot. And especially a shot in the beginning where they introduced the nun was something that I found quite fun. Now, there was a lot about this film that I did not like. The character of Frenchie was the biggest of these. He seemed like such a random thing to add into the film, because you knew the character of Sister Irene was going to become a nun. They talked about her vows throughout the entire film. Even at the very beginning, it was like the first scene with her, they talked about her vows. So the idea of a romance, you just knew it wasn't going to happen, so his inclusion seemed so just not worth it, and he had no religious experience, and I just feel like they wasted the character. And the only reason to include him was so they could show how he became possessed, so that Ed and Lorraine Warren could cast out the demon during an exorcism, and that kind of leads to the events of some of the Conjuring films. So his inclusion wasn't. I feel like they kind of needed it in there, but I feel like they could have just done something better with the character. My other gripe with the film is that they began building up the story and had some actually really cool ideas, but then they stopped so they could just end the film right away. They were story building, then all of a sudden they took this turn on their way on the way to defeat the nun, and they should have taken time to build out the story and just made a longer film. It's like an hour and 30 minutes. They could have added some time onto it. Finally, the ending just sucked. It was a plot convenience after plot convenience situation, like how they walked into the room that just happened to have a statue of Mary with the light hitting it perfectly, showing the way to the relic. And then they just happened to have the key that let them into the relic, to the actual blood of Jesus Christ. Like, what? And then they happened to find the exact room they were looking for with the nun so they could seal up the hole, and it was just plot convenience after plot convenience, and it just seems like they were either running out of money to make the film or they were running out of time and they were told they needed to end the film quicker, so they just didn't take the time to make a thought out ending. I did, however, I know I was complaining about Maurice earlier, but I did like how they kind of connected it. It was kind of cool. I'm sure when they made the first Conjuring film, they weren't like, we're going to make a nun that showed how this happened. So it was kind of a fun little thing they added in there. And it did make me want to watch the other Conjuring films, or the Conjuring universe films. I went and watched The Conjuring the next day. So it did make me want to watch it, and I was impressed by that connection. Overall, I think my experience with The Nun was a lot more enjoyable than most. I went into the movie knowing that it was gonna be a horror movie, and so I had a lot less expectations plot-wise and story-wise, because horror films are kind of just like that. The Nun made me want to go watch the other Conjuring universe films, and honestly, it has me excited for what's in store for the universe. I just hope they realize what they have, and they do their best to make excellent quality movies, especially since they have so much real material on their hands that they can make an excellent story-wise movie. So I'm going to give The Nun a 5 out of 10. Did you guys enjoy my movie review? Consider liking down below and subscribe for more reviews. And you can check out my Ant-Man and the Wasp review. So let me know what movies you want to see in the comments, and I'll see you all next time.